Welcome to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Anne Duffy. Dental Entrepreneur Women is here to dive deep and share stories with the mission to inspire, highlight, empower, and connect all women in dentistry.
Hi, everybody. It's Anne Duffy, and this is the Just Do It podcast. I'm so happy you're here today with us and my dear special guest. I would say she's a new friend since I started Do, and I can't remember if she found me or if I found her. I think I found you, Maggie, but I just have to say that her sage wisdom and the writings that she has done for us since day one have meant so much to me, because she pulls deep down inside of her and just lays it all out for us ladies. So, check out her writings in the past, 3 or 4 years of Dental Entrepreneur Woman. Let me tell you a little bit about her before we get started. Dr. Maggie Augustyn is a practicing general dentist, owner of Happy Tooth, author, and inspirational speaker. She completed her formal dental education, earning a doctorate of dental surgery from the University of Illinois at Chicago. Prior to that, she was awarded 2 bachelor degrees from UIC and Benedictine University. She is also an alumnus of Dawson Academy. Dr. Augustyn has published over 50 articles in the last 2 years. She is a columnist for Dentistry Today, publishing monthly in Mindful Moments. She has also written in Dental Economics and is a frequent contributor for Dental Entrepreneur Woman and Dental Entrepreneur, The Future of Dentistry.
Yes.
Yep. Dr. Maggie Augustyn also has a strong social media presence and has been a guest on multiple podcasts. And she is just an amazing woman in dentistry. Please help me welcome Dr. Maggie Augustyn. Hello, Maggie.
Hi, Anne. How are you?
I'm doing so well. 50 articles in 2 years. Well, the first time you ever wrote for me, I remember thinking, OMG, you are a phenomenal writer. And I think I remember writing that to you when you sent it to me, like, I hope this is okay. And I'm like, hello, anytime you want to write for us, because you have a gift. And that is a gift, Maggie. It really is. So thank you for all of your contributions. And especially for this edition, I'm going to hold it up. So, and everybody, if you're looking on YouTube, because I think our podcasts are on YouTube now, but we have the amazing Hazel Glasper and her 3 colleagues, Bethany, Beatrice, and Dana, on this edition and their story. And then Maggie wrote an article, and actually it wasn't meant to be in this edition, Maggie. We're going to save it for the next one. And it was so good. I'm like, this just fits perfectly into this edition of especially females with friendships, right? Because you wrote, and I forget when it was, because let me go back and see when that was, because I started at the beginning. It was in April 2021, about a relationship that left you pretty broken. And look at you now. You've done a lot of digging. You've done a lot of soul searching, a lot of help from your friends, colleagues, business colleagues, and coaches. How'd you get from that being so down and distraught and alone to where you are now?
It took 10 years, if not longer, actually, because the first article I wrote for you, I think, was called Broken. And I had a friend just walk away from me with no explanation, my best friend in dental school. And so that was in 2004. And I did not come out of my shell until probably right at COVID 2020. So it took 16 years for me to in some way heal and trust myself into believing that I was worthwhile and that I was worthy of having a friend, of being a friend. And it took some very special people to make me realize that as well. It took some coaching. It took some, very generous women, other dentist women, to come out and make me feel like I was worth loving.
Yeah. When I read that, I think I reflected back on my life and hope that I never did that to anybody else, because, sometimes we don't know what we're doing when we are walking away. And I thought about that, Maggie, and I also thought about a couple of experiences that I've had that, we were talking earlier before we get started, like people can't really believe that maybe somebody walked away from me and didn't want to be my friend. And I just, it killed me. It killed me. And my husband, he was so sick of hearing me talk about it. Right. I mean, he is not the person that's going to help me get out of that. And everybody that knows me knows I love Tom more than anything. He's just my buddy, my best friend. But he couldn't help me. I could have used a coach like Lonnie or a therapy session with somebody to just help me shake out of it. Like I just couldn't believe it. Like, why doesn't she like me? Or why is she turning her back on me? And it is a very vulnerable and a delicate dance that we walk with ourselves when that happens. And I think that writing about it probably helped you, and also is going to help somebody else maybe get out of that funk or that feeling of unworthiness a little sooner.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you allow me to process my thoughts, process my own imperfections and shortcomings in writing has helped me personally very, very much. But the hope is, of course, that as women specifically read about this, my only purpose in life really is to make sure that nobody else feels as alone as I have felt growing up. And so that's part of the reason why I write. Part of the reason why I'm willing to be as open as I am, why I'm airing my dirty laundry. Right. It's just so that I am hoping that it's not that my experiences are that much more special. It's that by opening up, I am hoping that I can allow someone to feel less alone in whatever journey they're on, whatever road they're walking.
Yeah. Well, I think that's happening. I mean, and it's so interesting that you're writing mindful moments for dentistry today, because that's kind of always been historically like a man's magazine, if you will. I mean, they're starting to bring some women in, and you were the first one. But to be able to have that, it just goes to show, first of all, the gift that you have in your words, and also that they saw something in your words that will resonate with their audience. And I think that's such a huge step for them, for men, for women, for our profession in dentistry. So kudos to you that, I don't know, somehow you got in there.
I got extremely lucky. And the new editor of chief and editor or editor-in-chief of Dentistry Today, Paul Feuderstein, he's extraordinary. I mean, he is out here welcoming and inviting women to be part of the conversation. And I don't know that I've seen that with another predominantly male publication or entity. And so I'm always very, very grateful to him, but also give him tremendous credit for listening and making us feel like we belong. And in fact, he's publishing I believe it's in June of this year, a women's edition of Dentistry Today. I mean, how wonderful. So I've been asked to write in that, and I'm writing an article in that about the traditional roles and how they've changed, specifically being a breadwinner and things like that, and how that affects our day-to-day life and just the heavy burden that we have to carry being all things to all people. And so that's something to look forward to. But yes, I am very grateful to Paul for recognizing that, not just in me, but he's also had, more women on the cover and invited more women to write for the magazine.
I just love it. I love it. I think they are doing a great job. And I think dentistry, because we are being, I don't know, taken over by women, if you want to say that. I mean, I like saying that because it's like we have 56% of the graduating dentists are women, and, we know our teams are all women. Do you have any males on your dental team right now?
I don't at the moment. I have a male partner, but every now and again, we've had a male hygienist, we've had a male dental assistant, we've had a male front desk.
That's cool.
So it's kind of nice to throw that every now and again to get that little mix of energy. Yeah,
to bring that in a little bit, because I think women are interesting in their friendships. I mean, I don't, they can hurt you more than you can imagine in just the female friendship and circle and tribe, if you will. And I know that, sometimes we have to walk away from a relationship. And why and when do you walk away from a relationship in your experience?
I think, thinking about this specific podcast, and even as I was writing the article, I think I found two ways to decide to leave a relationship. One of them, Lonnie Grass taught me about, and it's when two people are together in a relationship, whether it is a friendship or a romantic relationship, and one grows and the other doesn't. And they grow at different rates and they no longer align. That, I think, might mean that something needs to be tweaked in that relationship, one, or two, it's time to walk our separate ways, right? And then the other time is, I think, when you find yourself in a cycle of resentment and forgiveness. Resentment and forgiveness, resentment, forgiveness, hope, romanticizing the relationship, thinking and praying that something is going to be different, and then coming back full circle and realizing that despite the forgiveness and despite the hope, there's still a resentment, and you can't get past that resentment. And I think that's another reason to leave a relationship. But I think one of the reasons why we stay in a relationship is because we romanticize them so much. And I don't just mean romantic relationships, I mean friendship. And by romanticizing, I suppose I mean, we all have an idea of who we want our friend to be and who we want to be as the friend. And we just keep hoping and praying that this relationship, which we might hold so close to our heart, will end up being that very special relationship.
That it's going to be different this time.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning and our friend that continues to disappoint us, make us feel like crap every time you walk away. I always said, it's like maybe they'll have a lobotomy and they'll be this new person that's going to not let us down again. Because I think that's not a good friend, right? I mean, we need people like that constantly have us questioning our self-worth and questioning our movements, questioning what we're doing. And maybe, and I don't know, it takes two to tango. I guess that's the other thing, right? It does take two to tango. So I guess that's a good reason to walk away. Is there, okay, so we stay because we think it's going to be different.
We stay because we think it's going to be different, because we have hope. And hope is this thing that kills us. And whether it's, like I said, whether it's a marriage, whether, or whether it's a friendship, you just, a friend cancels on you so many times and you just have enjoyed every interaction with them. But in a very real way, they've let you down in other ways. Is that person really choosing you, or, when you're an afterthought,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So keeping this idea of what you think a relationship should be. Now, nothing is perfect. Nothing is going to be perfect. And I am just as imperfect as my friend. And there's a way to kind of, relationships absolutely can be mended. So can friendship. And something that you said, in terms of choosing people who choose us, are these people uplifting you? Are they supporting your hopes and dreams? Right. And if it feels like you just have to pretend to be somebody else, whether or not you're not getting enough attention, those are some other reasons why you should probably walk away. You need to be getting something from that relationship, something that builds you up, something that allows you to grow, something that gives you joy, something that makes you want to wake up in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, there's okay if every once in a while you're going to have a little tiff here, or a little, like, oh, I didn't, they didn't pick up, or something, a little slight of a slight, if you will. But if it just continues and continues. And every time you put yourself up against it again, oh, this time, maybe this time. It
Right.
just, after how many times? I mean, it's just got to, it's got to wear on you. And I think you have to look deep within yourself and say, no, I'm just not, this isn't working for me anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is just not working for me anymore. There's a difference and you can walk away from a friend. I ought to say this, my sister's going to listen to this one. She came in for their shower this weekend. We had a baby shower for Katie. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. But we had a little argument, and she was so mad at me, and I was mad at her. And we have the best relationship. But the point I'm making is, like, we both said we were sorry. We were upset with each other. We both agreed to disagree. And
Yes.
So it was very, I won't go into why, but it's just sister stuff. But we both hugged and made up, and we said we were sorry. We didn't mean to hurt each other. And it lasted about, 25 minutes. But one of the principles of do it, this reminds me also, Maggie, of one of the principles of do, be kind, don't be a jerk. So I think, like with my sister and I, she's the most wonderful person in the whole world. So she knew that we knew that we were getting a thing, but we weren't jerks about it. We were just, okay, this is how we feel. And I'm sorry, and we make up. So a friend that continues to hurt you, makes you feel bad, you need more. I mean, it's not really about you. It's like, do they see this is happening? You're really I think we don't need to hang out with people that are being jerks. And, when I look back on the relationships that have ended that have hurt my feelings, mostly they just never got the fact that they could put their arms around me and say, hey, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, right? It never came to that. It was just kind of like, well, this isn't working, and it doesn't work, and it's not working again, and today's not. So in other words, I think that's easy. When you look back on those relationships, we think, God, why did I waste so much time, right? Feeling bad about it when it was just a nanosecond in our lives, and we wish we could have moved forward. And that's what I think your article is going to help a lot of women see, that wallowing in that. And the term it minimalizes it because it's bigger than that, right? It's not something you can get out of, right? Because it's just wake up at 2:00 in the morning and think, well, what have I done differently, right? Well, I don't get it, right? But it does help when you're not alone in these circumstances, in these relationships, and just again, I don't know. That makes me seem, when I read that first article that you wrote in 2021, that someone just like ghosted you. And I think that's just being mean. That's just a mean person. We don't need to be hanging out with anybody like that. And why do we even waste time thinking about what could have been and why? But that's just human nature, right? We want people to like us, and we have hope, and we have positive, and, we want to think the best in people. There's nothing wrong with that either. We can't change that about ourselves.
And when you find people telling you, oh my, and again, like this relationship that I wrote about in Broken, I can't tell you how many times my husband would be like, my God, when are you going to get over this? It's been like 15 years but that's how broken we can be from, being in a relationship with somebody else and having that person walk away from. So when you are walking away from a relationship, do it in a way so that you're not going to irreparably damage the other person either, right? And what you said about my article Broken, and I'm sure I must have. We all have done something like that. We all have been broken, and we've all done the breaking, right? I mean, we can't just sit there and pretend that it's only been a one-way street. We've hurt other people also, but this is kind of where we come in with this whole thing. Our relationships meant to last a lifetime. And I don't think they are. I don't know if you ever read the book Present Over Perfect, a life-changing book. It's by Shauna Niequist. I'll send you the information if you'd like, but she talks in there about there being a season and a reason for everything. There's a season and a reason for a relationship, for a friendship. You could be in a particular time in your life where this is what you're into, and this is what you love doing, and you might find camaraderie with one person, or there could be, a reason for you to hang out and to be with another person. Like when your kid is on a volleyball team, you end up being friends with the volleyball mom, right? That could be a reason. Or that could be a season. But um, I mean, I've been with my husband for 25 years, and I hope it's a lifetime relationship, but not every relationship is meant to last that long. I don't think. And I think holding ourselves accountable, or holding ourselves to a point where we think that that's how long relationships are meant to last, makes it that much more difficult to walk away from some of these things that aren't serving us. And I suppose I shouldn't say serving us. They're really hurting us.
Yeah, I was going to say held hostage to those feelings, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
How do you get out of that, right? And honestly, as sweet as you are and as deep as you think, how do you get out of it and keep everybody whole?
Yeah.
Because we are good people, but sometimes it's not. And that's the other thing. We were talking about that because you're speaking at our retreat, which I'm so excited about. But how do you hold yourself like worthy? We're better than that. I mean, you have to bring love in. And when it doesn't feel like that, I mean, there are seasons, I agree with you, and you've got to ride it out. We everybody rides out certain parts in our lives, and you ride it out and it all works out. But there's other times when it's just like, this is just, I don't know, just not serving me. And if it's not serving me, then I'm not going to be good for anybody else. I'm not going to be a good mom. I'm not going to be a good dentist. I'm not going to be a good new friend, right? A good old friend or anything. I mean, because some of that stuff can really, I just think it's again, knowing what is good for us and what isn't good for us. And there are some toxic relationships that aren't good for us, and it's okay. That's just fine. We're not meant to be best friends with everybody. And I think also, looking at the strengths thing that we did, there are some women, if you're a relator and that's in your top, 5 or whatever, then you can take a friend from kindergarten and be with them your entire life. That just isn't everybody, though. And sometimes I think, I look at someone that has this group of like 5 women that they do the beach trip, and then they do once a year and all that. And that's just never been me. And I think that's really cool. But it made me think about when you said there's a season and a reason for everything. And you can, you can kind of like still have your friends, but you don't have to, be with them every second. And I think that's why I like a wide net. I've got a wide net of people. And, I think it's so interesting that the friendships that we have through life, and you look back. And as we get older, Maggie, I feel like, I don't know, don't you think that as we get a little bit more assured of ourselves, it's easier to create great friendships with women? I feel like my friendships that I've created over the past 20 years are so much richer than they were in the first 40 years of my life, or I don't know, 50, something like that. And I feel like there's more room for that because we've all been through a lot, and we give people more grace. It's a lot about grace. And I think the older we get, the more that we realize that, progress, and you said it, progress. And I like to say not perfection.
Yeah. I think, the more we know ourselves, right? The more we're willing to share ourselves with others, and the less we're like stumbling over our own insecurities. Like, I mean, when we were kids, when we were in our 20s, I mean, so many other things were important, and you kind of wanted to pretend to be somebody that somebody would accept, right?
Right.
Or you felt insecure about maybe being accepted for one thing or another. And then as we get older, I mean, take it or leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is who I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Like me for who I like try to change me now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're always trying to improve. There's nothing wrong with that. But even the kids now, we have adult kids, and I'm like, hey, guys, look, this is me. I might say something that might just without thinking. And I don't, just you take me for what I am, and know that, give me the benefit of the doubt. That's another due principle. Give the benefit of the doubt, no judging. Wish we could do that with everybody. I try to go back on that because everybody's got something, might have a bad day, but it's still, again, I think it goes back to if you have somebody in your life that consistently makes you feel bad, consistently doesn't help you, consistently doesn't be your encourager, your love, that's telling you something right there that you can do. You just, okay, I love you. Bye-bye. Good luck.
Yeah.
Dust your sandals off and move on to the next town. Move
Yeah.
on to the next person.
I think there's a new saying out there that says like, kiss them and bless them, or something like that. But yeah, I wish you the best, but I also wish myself the best.
Mm-hmm.
And even some of these relationships that I wrote about in this article, I still wake up and I think about them. I still wake up and I miss them. I still wake up and I still wonder if I did the right thing by walking away. But, in the end of the day, it just feels I'd rather be alone than be stuck in a relationship with someone that is constantly taking away from my self-worth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're dipping into your cup, right? And so your cup is full, and every time they see you, they take a big old soup spoon and pour out some of that good feeling, right? I mean, this is like, no, we want people that are going to pour into our cup and not take from our cup. Well, reading and writing, and you're so good at all that, and you've written so much about this because it's obviously, you're sensitive, Maggie, and you're so loving and hopeful, and I know you have a great faith. So, walking away from relationship, is it oversimplification?
Yeah, I can only write for so long, right? I can't give you 6,000 words. I can't give you 60,000 words. And as I was even writing it and reading it and editing it, I just thought, this does not do it justice. I don't think I have really spent enough words explaining how difficult walking away is, how you're allowing the hope and the faith that you had in this person and this relationship all of a sudden falter. It's like being left alone because, at least you have your hope. Okay. If you might not have the most ideal relationship, but at least you have the hope that maybe one day this relationship will be better. But when you choose to walk away from the relationship, you walk away from the hope that there will be someone out there that's going to love you as much as you love them. And again, I'm not necessarily talking about romantic relationships. I'm also talking about friendships, right? There's so much hurt. There's so much distraught feelings. There's heartache. There's the difficulty and the rethinking, the dread and the fear, of being alone. Because even when you make a change in your life, it's really hard to go from point A to point B, right? I mean, you try to give up sugar, whenever you make a change, whenever you create a change, it's that hard. And so when you walk away from someone, you miss them, that initial rolling out of choosing yourself or choosing people that choose you. That is very, very, very difficult. And I don't know that I can, ever put that into words. Your heart knows that. Those of us that have been through that, your heart knows that. Your heart remembers what that felt like, right? That's why when you read some of these things, it's emotionally igniting because you remember how much that hurt and you never want to go through that again. But to say that, just because somebody walked away from you and you're not, just to say, I never want to be in another relationship again. Well, I mean, that would suck. And I feel like I did that for those 16 years that I didn't choose to have friendships with women, and perhaps I lost out.
But now you're, I think it's walking in your life. And again, when you think back on it, it's not, well, you can't go back, right? You can't go back. And now you've discovered that there are good people. There are good people out there, women. I mean,
yes,
like women. I mean, like I say, call a do, right? I mean, just call a do and share it with somebody here that's going to understand, because we've all been there and we've all had that hurt. And some people take it on more emotionally than others. So you have someone that it's stuck with you. And so you're so brave that you realize you can't deal with that totally on your own. And you've reached out to people to help you do that, to have you, set you straight. Because sometimes it's like, am I crazy? And you need people to be that maybe aren't in your real tight circle, but on your on that second level of your circle to be able to like pull you back and say, look, it's okay. It's okay. I recognize that you're feeling this, but it's going to be fine. Because the older we get, the more valuable I especially feel like our female friends are in our lives. I really feel like that's something that's starting to take on. And you're a lot younger than I am, but I could just say right now, I can feel that it's better because I guess we've all been through something and people aren't so judgy anymore. And it's not like, I don't know, you look back on life, you say that is so not important. Some of the things that we worried about. And I love the fact that you were saying also trying to be something, put that square peg in a round hole, right?
Oh, yes.
And we are who we are, and we're perfect the way God made us. We do our best. And, darn it, we have to be true to ourselves. We have to be able to be true and not try to show up being somebody else so somebody likes us better. I mean, it's absolutely a waste of time because they're going to find out anyway, the true person, if they get to know you just, a little bit better, because I know you wear a lot of your emotion on your sleeve and your heart comes through, Maggie. That's beautiful. And I'm so happy that you're kind of on the other side of this. And I think you can recognize it now when it starts to it is, because you realize these people, that certain relationships aren't serving the relationship. We could just say that, not just serving me. They're not serving either one of us, because you can recognize that. So I think that's cool. And it's easy as you get older, you can walk away because you know what? There's 50 other women that I know that they want to get to know you better. So,
And I used to think that the world was kind of divided into two types of women, right? The women that are real catty and real jerks, and then the good women. And I think what I've come to realize is those women that are catty and they're jerks, I think if you get to know them in a different way, we truly are all the same. It's just a matter of perspective and what we allow each other to see. And so
there's good in everybody. There's good in everybody. And some people, well, this is what I say about Maggie. I said, and I've said this almost every podcast is like, okay, so everybody's welcome, right? Everybody's welcome in my circle, but some people only stay for cocktails and not everybody's going to stay for dessert.
Love it.
So, and that's okay. And I have to be okay with that, but it still doesn't mean it doesn't hurt me when somebody when they don't renew their membership or they ghost me on a call or, whatever, that still kind of gets to me. But it's okay. I just have to look, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, or we're not everybody's cup of tea. So you'll find your own cup of tea, and I bless you on your cup of tea, and just go find your style, your mojo. And I wish you well, but remember to be loving and kind to, that's important. That's important. Then of course I'm acting like I'm being all judgy. I have to watch it out. No matter what I do, I still have to be careful about, how I think and how I just present who I am. And I think we all have to think about that sometimes. It's just, again, we try to do our best and we can fall short. But the key is we give each other a little rope, if you will, to fall short and then come back, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's a friend.
And I bet the way that we look at ourselves, we're way harder on ourselves than other people would be, unless they're trying to judge us. Then they'll look at us in an entirely inaccurate way. But we're just so hard on ourselves.
They say, would you say that to a friend? No, I wouldn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Say to yourself what you would say to a friend.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think this has just been a great conversation today. And I mean, anyone that's listening, just know that, there are people out there that are here to help you, to love you. There are good people everywhere. And I know you feel the same way. I mean, you're hope always. They're just, and, we take the hurt and we make something good out of it. And that's what you've done with your writing and your speaking. You're making a difference because you're helping a lot of women. And I hear it a lot. I mean, the hurt that women feel sometimes, because we are sensitive beings. We are empathetic. We love harmony. We love people, and we like people to like, everyone wants to be liked. There's nobody out there that doesn't really want to be, doesn't really care about it. So, if you're out there, smile at someone today, make their day, be a good person. If you've hurt somebody, say you're sorry. And then if you're in a relationship, and it's not working, it's okay.
It's okay to walk away. And you know what? Who knows? By walking away and creating that space, maybe you'll find another relationship that is, where you're able to fulfill the kind of friendship that you want to give to someone, and it can actually be received as it should be.
I believe that is true. I think that's a truism, and I see it, and you've seen it, in your life going forward. So, any parting words for those that are listening, that are kind of thinking about some of the relationships they're in right now? Like, maybe I'm not gonna. I just need to think about. Is it a good time to stay there? Should I stay or should I go? Right?
Yeah.
Thing, right?
I think the tumultuous changes that we all go through as people in our friendships or in ourselves, personally, emotionally, it is part of the human condition. There will always be hurt. We will always be hurt by something at some point, and we will also do the hurting at some point towards someone. And one of the things that I think has helped me the most in navigating some of that is coming to understand that just because this is happening to me does not make me a bad person. And just because this is happening to me does not make me the only person. So, the ups and downs that we go through in our lives, in our relationships, in our love, in our companionships, those are normal. We all go through them. It is part of being human. And that will never change. And it gets easier as we get older because we become more self-assured, or we just know how to deal with life a little bit differently. I think some of these things happening when we're younger hurt a little bit more than they do as we age. But that doesn't mean that it's, not without heartache.
Not without heartache. And that heartache will carry us through to love more fully, to be loved more fully. And I loved it. I always think life is long, so we just look to the future for some good things and know ourselves and know that we're worth it.
Yes. Be worthy of choosing those who choose you.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Maggie. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you, Anne.
For sharing something that's been on all of our hearts at one time or another. And I just appreciate you so much. And I can't wait to see you up in front of the room at the retreat, feeding and pouring into all of us. It's beautiful.
I can't wait either.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, darling. Well, we'll be looking for you on your monthly, renditions of Dentistries Today, and more coming from Dental Entrepreneur and Dental Entrepreneur Woman and all the things that you're doing. Maggie and everybody that's listening today, remember to keep doing you. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you the next time. Bye, Maggie. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Anne Duffy. To learn more about dental entrepreneur women, to share your story, or to join the movement, please visit our website, do.life. That is DEW.life. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app to make sure you don't miss an episode. And in the meantime, keep doing you.